Wow.
Great.
It already went live.
Hello, world.
Jeez.
All right, I need to open up that chat window.
I need to do that too.
So I did not get Mario Odyssey. I really want that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like that's a game I could use right now. Like I feel like playing something really different.
It sounds so good. So that was one game that I really want to play. I also really super duper duper want to play South Park. The Fractured But Whole. I have to be careful how I say that. I always try to throw commas in there. And like non-existent commas.
Yeah, I don't think I'll actually be picking that up because it doesn't seem that different from the first one in a way that I would want to, because it's like the same map, and it's the.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, to me, it's with how little time I have, I don't think I.
That's true.
I don't think I could afford like going through that again.
I really wish Battle Chasers Nightwar would hurry up and come out on Switch. I thought they'd be a lot faster than they've been. Yeah,
I'm excited to talk about that during the show.
And then I saw that the .hack GU Recoded came out, and I'm just like, oh my god! I know I already played / almost 100%ed the game back when it was in the PS2, but I could go a second time.
Yeah, why not? It's been long enough.
Right?
Okay, so minimize that.
I also heard they added an extra chapter to that as well. Like,
oh, cool.
So, that's good reason to play it again, right?
Yeah. Added content.
Added content. I'll play 3 of the .hack GU games back to back again in an HD version, along with the 4th.
Well, and like Etrian Odyssey 5 just came out, and I was just like, I don't even know where I would find the time to find my 3DS. Nevertheless, play this game.
Oh no.
During news stories, I don't really want to talk about the Ys 8 localization stuff, because I feel like that's a sort of dogpiling a little bit.
I really want to pick that one up. Like, that looks like a good game, and kind of the reviews have said the right thing about that game.
Yeah. Boy, that localization is real bad.
Yeah, when I saw some of those quotes, I was like, usually localizations, whether they're bad or not, like, it doesn't necessarily bother me.
Yeah.
Just because it's... honestly, I don't I don't understand why most people can be picky about whether they like a game based on its localization, because JRPGs are constantly repeating things at you all the time, and I don't...
For me, it depends on like how bad of a localization. If we're talking about like if it doesn't even sound like English anymore, but like broken English, then I got problems. There are games that have broken English.
The most unfortunate part about it too is like there's so much stuff in the original Japanese version that was already in English and already like it already made sense. So you just leave it alone.
Just use it.
Yeah, and they didn't. And that's the baffling part.
But why?
Yeah,
is there a reason?
No, they never really said. They're just like, yeah, we're going to retranslate it, and they're like re-recording vocals, and they're adding new vocals because like some of the voiced stuff got mistranslated, and it's a real thing.
That's strange.
So back when you guys were playing Castlevania for your Game of the Month. And I popped in the PSP version and played through a little bit of the opening, and I was like, something seemed different about that. And like a couple weeks later, I'm like, he didn't say the line.
Right.
They retranslated this game.
What? But that's the best part.
Yeah, the PSP one, they retranslated and re-recorded all the audio and text for that game, and the weird thing is, it's the same thing.
But that's meme-worthy. That's historical. You don't change history.
You can't mess up Dracula's speech, and they did.
Yeah, and it's like, what's so funny is like it's almost exactly the same, the same text. They just like retranslated it to make it honestly a little bit of English, but it sort of takes the soul out of it.
bad or not, like, what is a man? A miserable...
miserable
pile of secrets. It's such a good line.
I love that line.
Yeah.
That's... I don't even play Castlevania and I know that line. Like, that's how much that means to me.
And it's gone from that version, so...
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Hopefully they never do that again.
Yeah. That version had so many...
Tell me...
What was that?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
I was about to say something else.
Oh, that version has so many problems that, like, the retranslation is sort of the least of them.
Oh. A lot of people always tell me they don't like how the War of the Lions for tactics reads.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it. I enjoyed it. I just...
Yeah. The thing is, like, for me it's the same, because I sort of fall in both camps. The original version wasn't that bad, except for, like, obviously the famous example of, like, defeat Daisadarg's older brother, which is Ramza. So, like, they should have fixed some of that stuff, but, like, some of the lines that, I guess it's the blame yourself or God is missing out of the intro from War of the Lions, which for a lot of people is like that line where it's like, yeah, that's really... It's a better written line in the new one, but it's sort of like it misses the punch of some of the original stuff.
I see.
It's like it's more accurate and it's better, but the original tactics was so bad but really good in some ways that it's sort of they should have kept the really good stuff.
I played the original tactics, but I don't have like the most permanent memory of like what things were said. But I remember that like I was kind of turned off by like not being able to comprehend or understand. Like the words were very like went far too above my head and my intelligence, I guess. And it was just so wordy and so verbose that I was just I didn't understand. And then when I played War of the Lions, I don't want to say it dumbed it down, but playing War of the Lions, it was like, oh, okay, I know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
like, this is
like that was the biggest problem
English
with the original one is like they translated some names wrong and they translated relationships wrong, and for like a political game like Tactics, you can't just say like, oh, this guy is this guy's brother and now he's king. It's like, well, that's wrong. So, it's like, and like that famous defeat Daisadarg's elder brother, that's not who you're fighting in the battle. So like the things they were just talking about in the text don't actually reflect what's happening in the fighting. It was just it was all over the place.
I see.
Yeah.
I feel so bad because everyone always tells me how good the Final Fantasy Tactics story is. And I played hundreds of hours of that game, and I barely remember the characters' names, let alone like
that's one of the problems of that game is like you'll remember Ramza and you'll remember Delita, and like I pulled a unit in Brave Exvius of was it Malaya Duel, Meduli, whatever, however you pronounce that, and I was like, that's a deep cut from Final Fantasy Tactics. That's a character I wouldn't. You could have put a gun to my head and said, like, who else is in this game? And I'd be like,
what's
dude,
crazy?
I don't know.
my husband actually knew immediately who that was. He was like, it's that person who has like a team of like people with really good equipment, but she can break your equipment from very, very far away or something like that. Oh,
that's right. Oh, that fight sucks.
And he, like, as soon as he saw that, he's like, that's that. He's like, I hate that.
Oh, yeah, because you're fighting her on the roof of, like, a church or something, and she has a gun and can, like, armor and weapon break you from, like, 7 blocks away.
Yeah, so unless you have, like, the can't be broken stuff equipped on your characters.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, like, everybody has, like, really good equipment that you want to steal and take, but there's no way you want to just, like...
Yeah, it's the worst battle to do it.
Like, you do not want to do that on that battle.
Man,
he knew that one.
I was talking to my brother about Brave Exvius the other day, and he was asking me, like, most people that play Brave Exvius have, they get, like, that one unit they always pull over and over and over again, no matter what. And he was asking me what my unit is, and mine is Alma from Final Fantasy Tactics. Of all things, it's like, she's so bad. And, like, I'm pulling one a week. This is killing me.
She, at least she has like a good TMR. She has the lordly robe or whatever, I believe, that you can fuse together. So at least she's not completely worthless.
I got my first TMR, which was lightnings.
Oh, all right, so, the Aurora.
I put it on her immediately, so I'm doing 8 strikes 2 times, and I was like, this is too much.
I want Square to make a Final Fantasy Tactics collection and put Save Game Plus in all of them. Because inevitably, my problem with every single one of those games is I get too obsessed with doing every single thing in it. And so, like, I never beat Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced or Advanced 2, just because I got lost in the quests. And
really long. If you're doing everything. Like, I did everything in that game, and it's so long.
I'm like the outlier on the tactics games. I love the Advanced and Advanced 2.
Yeah, me too.
I beat those, but I haven't beaten Tactics.
The first Tactic is so hard. Like, people are just like, oh, it's not that bad. No, it's really hard. And if you keep fighting, like, if you fight too many random battles, it scales the difficulty up as you go. So, like, at some point, you can't keep fighting random battles because the game gets too friggin' hard.
Yeah, that happened to me because you aren't getting equipment to, like, scale with you. So, like, the story battles actually do not scale, but the random encounters... like, it
Next
becomes
thing you know,
impossible.
you're fighting a red chocobo that's dropping a meteor on you from 10 tiles away. It's just like...
And you're like, how do I even fight this?
I'm wearing a leather hat. Like, you gotta chill out here.
The original PlayStation version has a cheat glitch in it that you can level your guys up with, too.
Yeah.
I don't remember how to do it, but something like you oversell something somewhere or something weird like that.
Yeah, you can do like an if I remember correctly, you can do like an underflow buffer to sell like 2 million of something.
Oh, that's true. I think I read that too.
Final Fantasy V's underflow buffer, which is so stupid strong, and they won't fix it, and it's amazing. So if the one in Final Fantasy V is if you have a berserker who has very, very low magic stat, and you equip them with the rune axe, which gets your attack gets stronger as your magic gets higher, and then you equip them with some shield. I think it's the bone shield that decreases all of your stats by a bunch. What basically happens is their magic stat goes below 0, which brings it up to like 998. So the rune axe is doing like 5 times 1,000 per swing. And it's just...
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
I didn't even know about that. That's amazing.
I've never had a chance to use it because I've never pulled a berserker, but...
That reminds me of the whole Civilization Gandhi thing where Gandhi was supposed to be set to like the lowest amount of aggression. And then once you reach the certain era, everybody gets like a minus to like some sort of aggression or something like that. Everyone does. But because Gandhi was already set to the lowest setting, when they subtracted from that, he automatically went to the highest aggression setting. Amazing. And that's the whole reason why Gandhi has always been since then sent to like the highest aggression or whatever, the most likely to use nukes and stuff like that because
that's funny.
Of that
like
sort of
people always say
setting.
like programming is so easy. Programming's really hard. Like examples like this is sort of like, oh right, underflow buffers. We forgot to put those in. Whoops. Oh man. All right, are we ready to kick this thing off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get rid of the pre-show label there, and we're good. And hopefully I don't lose my voice. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. I'm your host, Boston, and going around the room, we have Musim.
Hello.
And Mina.
Hi.
Let's just dive right into it. Musim, what have you been playing this past month?
Not a ton, but we'll fly through it. I just don't like anything in life right now, I don't think. So,
I saw
curb
you
your
post
expectations. Yeah.
I saw you post on Twitter the other day that you're like, I guess I just don't enjoy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I've been there.
I feel bad. You know, everyone loves something, and you're like, I'm just not feeling this.
Over in the corner being like, meh.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
But, well, okay. So, I've been having a really hard time making myself play Warframe. Like, they came out with the Plains of the Eidolon expansion, which is the big open world area on Earth.
Destiny, but better.
I feel bad that those two games keep getting compared to each other because there's such, like, I get like the kind of similarities that they get, but they play so vastly different, and their in-game economies are like night and day. And while I don't know that Bungie's copied Warframe, but like when Destiny came out, like 2 weeks, like after Xur came out, 2 weeks after Xur's introduction, there was a Void trader in Warframe.
Oh, nice.
That
his name was Rux.
every 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had mods you could only get from him. So, but they Warframe just tends to kind of absorb and add everything that they can. But
yeah.
So the when I first got into Plains of Eidolon, it was really exciting because, you know, you get this cool cinematic and you're in the city and there's all these, well, I say city, this large village, and there's so many people to talk to, and there's all these marketplaces that you can't really buy anything, and then you go through this huge gate, and depending on how you have your match set up in terms of whether you're willing to play with randoms or you have it set to solo or something, it'll match you up with people, and then you guys just launch onto the plains. So the plains are huge and gorgeous, and there's little tunnels hidden everywhere, and you can go fishing, and they have a mining mini game.
Awesome.
So all that is really cool. The negatives are when you realize you're in a 4-man group with 4 strangers in an open world, and they're giving you objections, and no one can decide when to quit.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I've been meaning to Google it and test it out, but like, because like while you're on the plains, Lotus, your mission giver, will continually like radio you and say, hey, there's a thing over here you can go do for me, and you can either go there or it'll time out and go away. So you could potentially be stuck with a group of strangers forever.
Oh, yeah.
If no one decides to go back and end. But I don't know what happens if you just leave in between one of those missions. Like, I would hope you don't lose all your winnings so far.
Right, yeah.
So that's problem one.
It would seem poorly thought if that was the case.
They've made kind of overglaring mistakes before.
Oh.
So I don't... Like, you gotta understand how Digital Extremes develops stuff for Warframe. Like, they make it, they test it for a couple days, they put it out. Like
let's throw it out there and see what people do with it, and then we'll figure it out. PC
is kind of the beta test in a lot of areas, and this is like probably bigger than anything else that they've ever done. You know, like, I mean, there's so much in it and so many systems in it. And everything's kind of a brand new system, so it's expected, right? But so for me, I've been playing solo just so I don't have to deal with randoms. I played a little bit with my friend John, but he's so far behind in Warframe. Like, the thing is, like with the plains, is at night you can hunt these giant creatures called Eidolons. It's the name. But you have to have completed the second dream to be able to beat them, because you need the mechanic you get from that to do it. Which, by the way, that mechanic they have redone to a decent extent. So, like, that was a big... I guess it doesn't matter. It's been a year or two. Like, in the second dream, you... Like, I heard, like, at the end of one of the Metal Gear games or something, like, you get a character creation screen or something like that, or... I don't remember. Something... Warframe did something similar. So you're 400 hours into Warframe, you complete the second dream, and suddenly you get a character creation editor.
Yeah, which was crazy when I played, because I was like, what? Now I get a character creator?
Yeah.
This usually comes at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Blew my mind when it happened. I was like, what? What are they doing? Oh my god, they're changing it. And the new character comes with its own skill grid, right? So they have now reset that grid. So all your points are refunded. All the things you've been like how the for people who don't know how the that system and faction systems work, is you generally equip a permanent item on your weapon, or you equip a sigil. I don't know what the heck I'm saying.
We're all three of us are sort of a little under the weather, so you'll have to excuse us.
But anyway, so you equip one of those things, and then it gathers you have a different experience counter that, a percentage of whatever you do goes to it. So they've refunded all of that stuff to you, including the symbols that you had equipped. So I have like a dozen things that used to be equipped to my weapons and Warframes that are not anymore, that have been slowly adding back. But I can't remember where I was going with that. But either way, to fight the Eidolon, you got to have your guy. So like we started to get John on the road to get to that, and we played a couple times, and then we just haven't gotten back to him and meaning to. But the Eidolons are kind of neat because like you'll be out in the plains at night and just start hearing this giant stomping, and then like the enemies out there, the Grineer, you'll just start hearing them launch missiles and things at it, and
that's cool.
It's neat, but the few times I've tried to fight one, I've run out of ammo, or it has become daylight before I can kill it.
Oh, right.
My consistent problem with Warframe is typically that, because everything I have is maxed out, and I have so many of the good mods, and I've built a lot of my things with community recommended setups, like most of the game it's kind of almost a Dynasty Warriors type experience with like extreme parkour and lots of superpowers, like for me at this point. So like a lot of the times when something gets hard, like I just get irritated at it because I'm so used to just blowing over everything.
Right.
So I haven't really messed with the Eidolon much, but like all the things in town is the town of Cestus, which is the town next to the plains, is basically a new syndicate. So you earn a reputation for them by running missions for them, doing bounties, and then that gains you experience that you can rank up with them, or you can spend that experience on their merchandise, which is, I guess it was all right for the syndicates, but now that I'm having to start from zero in this giant like list, I'm like, can't they just be separate things?
Right.
Like I can just use my regular money for it, and you just lock me out of buying it until I earn the right rank to buy it or something.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I'll get over it. The fishing wasn't working for me for a while, but I finally caught a fish today.
They added fishing?
They added fishing. To go fishing, first you have to go earn 500 faction reputation with Cestus. And then you can buy a fishing spear. And then you go around looking in the water till you see a fish and you throw it at it and you get it. Mm-hmm. So that's and they did like this Twitch drops thing with a bunch of challenges. So like someone playing Warframe had registered their Twitch account with the Warframe website. Mm-hmm. Then like they'd be entered in this challenge where if they could catch 20 fish in an hour or something, you'd get a chance at one of the Twitch drop things.
But how hard is that?
Well, I played, I don't know, I probably put 3 or 4 hours, maybe 5 hours into it, and I've caught 3 fish.
Okay. So a little challenging.
That's really hard.
Yeah, like everyone else I've watched online has nowhere near that level of difficulty with it. For some reason, they just aren't generating in the water for me.
Huh.
And my other problem is it seems like no matter what I am doing in the plains, the Grineer I have somehow aggroed them just by existing.
You are their natural enemy.
Yeah, you just can't sit there and fish. And it's such a nice environment with cool caves, and like the mining mini game is you get like this little mining gun and you see like a gem and rocks and you walk up to it and cut it out. Like it's they made some neat little mini games, but because you're constantly just having to juggle the mini games with the Grenier, like it kind of bums me out. I kind of wish they'd maybe just make more concentrated areas of enemies.
Right.
I might have missed it. You might have said it, and I was trying to listen, but since I've already made it past that whole character creator part, like, how much content do I need to do to get to where you're able to go to this new expansion part or whatever, the new add-on area?
It's already available to you.
Yes,
nice.
So I can just go.
Yeah, they made it. They wanted to make it so that because I think they realized, like, when the hype got out about it and they started giving this press coverage, or maybe they realized it before then, that new players were probably going to start the game wanting to play it. So basically, it's just an area on Earth. So as long as you've conquered most of Earth, you probably have unlocked the path to it.
Nice.
See, all they need to do now is they need to, like, include some sort of housing, like an actual housing thing.
Right.
And, like,
Yes.
you've got me, like,
You're ready to
blurred
go.
all the way in at that point. I'm all the way in.
I was actually thinking about that today. I'm like, man, how cool would it be if you could just land in a little house next to the village, or maybe like your ship comes down and transforms into a house.
So
I would done.
yeah.
That's all I need. That's the only thing I'm missing now.
Yeah, it's they got some stuff to fill out in the Plains of Eidolon though, like, because it's I find myself wishing it was more RPG like, where I could be wandering around the plains and run into someone just like having a house out there, or like a broken down caravan or something, or things like that. Maybe something you'd get in a BioWare game or something.
Like an open world RPG where you, like, stumble upon a camp of thieves and there's a quest. Yeah.
But they've given themselves lots of expansion room. Evidently, there was a meteor that crashed to the ground that I missed because I wasn't really playing it much this past week. But everyone could see it in the sky, and it landed at some point in the last couple days. And I went and saw what the meteor was just earlier today. It sounds a lot more exciting than it is, but I'm glad that they can make those kind of interesting narrative physical changes in their environment. I think that gives good potential for the future, but I think their intention with this thing is to bring the only word that's coming to my mind is the Flood. They're not the Flood. They're the
what
infested. The I don't know. They're all the
sort of
the aliens wannabe.
Yeah.
Race, but I'm assuming that's what that's going to wind up being. But anywho, I don't know. It's neat, but it's still very much Warframe. It is fun just to leap around the environment. But I think that's about all I really have to say about it at the moment. I'm sure I'll dig into it more, and the itch will hit me at some point in the next month, and I'll just lose a week to it, but just not quite there yet. So, let's see. I actually played this time a little bit of Fire Emblem Heroes, whereas the previous months I'd literally just been logging in every day and getting the orbs. Interestingly enough, the previous couple months when I was doing that, it was not giving me any 5-star draws. But now that I've played a little bit, it is occasionally giving me a 5-star draw.
Oh, weird.
So, I haven't played a ton. Like, they did another one of those play 5 battles in a row and survive and earn points. I forgot what it's called. No, it's a mode I don't like, so I don't play it.
I'm trying to remember what it's called too. It's the one in the top left-hand corner. What is it called?
Yeah.
That's
really
don't
funny.
remember.
I don't know. The community seemed really excited for this one chick that they introduced, but they put her in a banner that everyone seemed up in an uproar about, because it was like she was a sword. Like, right, when you draw from Fire Emblem Heroes, you pick what color you're drawing, right? So they put 2 reds in this banner so that you'd have even less of a chance of drawing her.
Oh,
But
right.
I didn't get her, but I got 2 other 5-star characters from that, who I've already forgotten who they were. Or wait, no, one of them was No, it's gone. But
see, for me, after I got Hector, I stopped worrying about whatever I was pulling from that point on, because I'm just like, it's fine. I've got Hector now. That's all I ever needed. That's all I ever wanted. Yeah. Now I'm just gonna build out this Hector to be the strongest Hector that ever hectored, and he's gonna like, if you go up against him, I'm sorry, he's just gonna bowl you over. And I ended up getting I got him, Reinhardt, which is like a horsey dude, like a blue horsey dude maybe.
Yeah, I think I have his 4-star.
Yeah, I got him, and I have the brave Lynn, who's also on a horse.
I have regretted every day since our podcast where you informed me about that, getting Ike instead of her. Every time I run into her in arena, I'm like, oh, she's so good.
What could have been?
I have like 3 horse people, and so I have she's an archer, right? Yeah. So I have all the elements represented, and they have like different horse bonuses between Xander, her, and Reinhardt. So they all buff each other horse-wise, and I just shuffle them around and move. I move Hector with them. Like, I use their mobility to pull Hector to the front of the pack. And like, if anything dares to attack him instead of the horses, that's just a bad time.
Oh, that must be great. Like, I feel like I have a mediocre team that I can do pretty well with.
Yeah.
Like, but it's mainly because of the abilities I've given them. Like, I mean, granted, Ike by default's really good, but like, Linda's all right. But like, when I've combined her with like half my team has the pull thing, and then half of them can teleport. Like my, I forgot her name, but the blue lady singer. Is she a singer?
Yes, she is. She's from the Echo one, the sibling. What is her name?
I can't remember. She's not the one with the book. She's the one with the... No. Yeah, I forget.
I wish I was playing this so I could help you out.
Yeah. She's
but
from...
she can teleport to wounded characters. Like, I added that skill onto her, so that's been a good decision, I feel
nice.
Like. But
it's gonna kill me.
She's literally on the front cover of both versions of the game, and she sings in the game at the intro and several different points.
Fire Emblem is such a blank spot for me, man.
Yeah.
She's so important and critical to the story.
Does it start with an A? It's not Asuka. That's not her name. You're making me want to look it up. That's a bad use of airtime, though. I'm not going to do it.
No. I apologize, people who love Fire Emblem, that I have forgotten her name.
Yeah.
That's still a really good game. But it's... it maybe came to a really, it's been bugging me for the past month, and today I'm like, I haven't played crap for this podcast. I'm going to go just dig up something old that's not going to do me any good for my end of the year list. And I started a second playthrough on Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Oh.
God, I love that game.
To play that.
It is such a, it's so lighthearted, and that battle system is so good. Like, man, I'm so sad, the way they set that...
What are the odds Nintendo will, just put that on the Switch? Because I don't want to use the Wii U. Can they just put that on the Switch for me? Because I really would like to play that game, a lot. I have had an itch to play it, too, recently. Because it was really good, but I just don't want to go back to the Wii U. I don't want to plug it in.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that while I was playing through the prologue today, and I think the problem they're going to face is the game is set up so that it wants you to look at your map while you're playing, and it wants you to read your text messages while you're playing.
Yeah, you have the two screens at the same time.
Yeah. So they're going to have
a little pop-up. Let it have a little phone pop-up thing.
I think the phone pop-up would work. I think the map on some of the levels with the puzzles may be an issue, but I guess my only real point in bringing up isn't that they can't do it, is that they have to put more effort into doing it than they would some of their other games. I really want them to. I want to play it on my Switch. I don't want to use another Nintendo product again except for my Switch.
Well, honestly,
I love it.
I mean, with the 3DS having to eventually ride off in the sunset, Atlas is going to have to figure out how to do this for Etrian Odyssey, or just stop the series or move it to mobile. Like, I feel like Tokyo Mirage Sessions might be a good first step into figuring out how to get Etrian Odyssey onto the Switch.
Well, and they have such a high production value on Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I mean, that game's got kind of anime-esque cutscenes. It's got all this original music that the characters are performing.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a ton of animations in that game. Like, it's a really good-looking, like, last era game that I have a hard time imagining that they recouped their money on. But
yeah,
I don't think they did.
I think it did well in Japan.
I'm really worried Nintendo's just going to look at it as such a niche property and not take into consideration that, no one freaking bought the Wii U.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, I would totally buy that again for the Switch, and I would love it.
I would start a brand new game on that without my previous save file if they brought it out on the Switch.
Too.
Yeah, because my main problem
second that.
Playing that is, like, I only get to play games when my kid is taking a nap, which means it's quiet time, and you sort of have to play that on both screens with both screens having volume, so it was just an impossibility. I'd love to have it on I don't have a Switch, but that would push me further towards getting a Switch, because you can just undock the thing, plug some headphones in, and you're kind of good to go.
Well, and I'm sure they could roll in some new outfits or something extra in it.
Yeah.
Like, I checked the store and they didn't add any new DLC for it or anything. I haven't played it since it came out, but I really like that.
Persona 5 DLC and try to get some money off of that.
Yeah.
Man, they need to do a sale on that Persona 5 DLC. Like, every time I go in the store, I'm like, I'd like to buy this stuff.
Right.
I don't want to spend another $50 to $100. Give me a 50% off sale, and I will buy everything you have on here.
I mean, they just made it worse by putting the Ultimate Persona 5 edition on the PSN store, which is like $166. You get the game and all of the DLC, and it's like, that's not quite what we wanted. We wanted just an occasional sale on the DLC, because the outfits are cool, and they changed the battle music, and like they changed a lot of stuff, but each piece of DLC is really expensive.
Who is screwing up Atlas for it? Like, is this Sega's fault?
Sega.
Can we have Sega to blame for this?
I was talking about this on TVGP. 2017 has been a really hard year to defend Atlas.
I feel like it's Sega.
Yeah.
I get this feeling.
And Sega's making all the right choices with Yakuza. Like, what is this, Bizarro World?
Yeah, Yakuza 1 for $30, okay.
Yeah, sold.
Geez, I bought that and I haven't played it yet because I'm waiting for Yakuza 0 to go on the sale, but that evidently is never going to happen.
That's a bummer.
It's just going to be a Zelda and permanently remain at $60 for 10 years. But
yikes, it's still $60 on Amazon right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Like, I would have bought it by now if not for that. Like,
let me see if I can find you a cheap copy.
Thank you, Boston. And that way I can play that and then play the Yakuza 1. Like, I watched Susie play a little bit of Yakuza 1, but I'm like, I bet all of this intro scene would be explained in 0.
It is, yeah.
So then I have also been severely addicted to Final Fantasy Brave Exvius.
Oh my god, me too. I can't stop.
Right?
I was really bummed out when they were like, we're bringing Bahamut, you can go get him, but I can't go get him.
Except for us.
Not far enough in the story.
Not you guys. That area is tough.
We'll
as
do
nails. That is definitely like I don't even know how to it's definitely veteran content.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be inaccessible for you for forever, but it's definitely like
it's your endgame stuff.
This is endgame, yeah. Endgame farming.
Yeah, I just got to Mysidia, is that the location?
Oh, Mysidia, yeah. I just finished the area after that. Boy, those two areas suck. Let me just forewarn you, Musum. Both of them are super long and super bland.
Oh, man.
Tough.
I just got my butt kicked, like, on this I can't remember what enemy it was. It was like this group of things that are weak to fire, and for some reason, like I tried them 3 or 4 times using, both of your guys' characters and using my other friend Matt's character, who Matt seems at your level, Mina. And just I couldn't even beat him then. So I don't know.
I probably also need to I probably need to swap around my units sometimes for you guys to try something out. I recently had the illusionist Nickel up for some other people. They needed him to help do some baiting mechanics onto a tank. So I should probably set up something better for you guys.
It's most of generally you wipe out the enemy team for me, so I was very surprised when that didn't happen this time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that Halloween dungeon was really good for me getting resources. I got like 5 or 6 guys up to 6-star through that.
I hated that dungeon.
That was actually they had different floors to farm on. I was farming the hardest floor because I got a lot of the heavy crysts and stuff, the stuff that you use to awaken special abilities on your units. That was the floor I farmed on, but I know that the other floors had things like awakening materials and like maybe guild turtles and XP cactars.
Yeah, I basically just did the first 2 floors, and it was one of those things where if I did the 3rd floor, then I had to pay attention to the game, and if I did the first 2 floors, I could just hit auto.
Yeah.
So I was able to just like get a bunch of keys and then get a bunch of people leveled up, and I got my first rainbow pull. I got Orlando, is that his name? The tactics guy?
Shut up.
You got Orlando?
I'm quitting this show.
You got the old Mandu? Old Mandu? Yes.
Everyone always shares him. He seems pretty good, but I don't
You son of a.
So
I need him so badly.
Do I have what?
You have Cecil, a paladin-looking guy with a bluish silvery cape. He looks like he looks paladin. He looks like a paladin.
The guy from 4. Yeah.
Yes.
I do have Cecil.
You have one of those.
Oh my god.
I don't have him leveled up though.
Well, you don't need him to level up. So like TMR Moogles, if you feed them to your Cecil, if you feed those Moogles that like level up a TMR, if you max out Cecil's TMR, you get the Excalibur. You take the Excalibur, you give it to Orlando, and he becomes super strong. Which was why my Orlando, like if you use Divine Ruination or whatever on an enemy, you'll notice that I put like a light debuff on the enemy, which lowers their resistance to light element, combined with the fact that it's like an 8 hit that I multiplied twice because I have 2 weapons. So it's a dual wielding, so it's 8/8. If you were to have your old Mandu and my old Mandu both do Divine Ruination, we would lower the debuff of his light resistance along with doing 8 times 2 damage, and we would chain together, and you would just see like the numbers fly up. You would melt through the content.
Awesome. I hate you so much, Wilson.
I'll start funneling my trust stuff to him then.
I think it can't be understated how powerful TG Sid is in that. Like it's just it's I'm right now I'm doing sort of gearing and preparation stuff to take on Gilgamesh, which is like the hard fight that is the gate towards getting to some of the next hard fights. And man, it would be so much easier if I had a TG Sid of my own.
Because there's basically there's a couple methods to beating Gilgamesh, but if you were to just say like, okay, just give me like the 2 most tried and true methods. There's the method of do enough damage that you just like KO him, just boom, done, and that would involve having a chaining method, like two Orlando's just going and just killing him. Or you do the method of basically you hit him with different elemental weapons, which lock out his abilities.
Yeah, I'm sealing his abilities. I'm trying to do it like the thing. I was talking to my brother about this. The thing that's hard for Musim and I is it's gonna sound like a first world problem, but like so many of our friends on our friends list have incredible like end game. Like my highest ranked character has like 400 attack, and like Mina, you and my brother, like you're just pulling out like 1100 attack units. So it's making a lot of content that would be harder pretty trivial. So I'm trying not to use some of those units on like these endgame ones, because I want to try and give it like, I want to give it the old college try and say like, you know, like work within the means of the fight itself. And that's a hard fight.
You have lightning, so that's really helpful for sealing abilities, which you can do for Gilgamesh. Rain, he has an ability, I can't remember what it's called, but it does earth and fire damage. I know that much. It's earth and fire.
I'm leveling him up now.
If you give him like another elemental weapon that you want to have blocked, like whatever, I don't know, just even if it's a crappy weapon, it doesn't matter so long as he lives. You can block out 3 elements, whatever weapon he's got equipped in his hand, fire and earth, and you've already sealed 3 elements, like right there. Yeah. And even though he's kind of like, you feel like he might be wasting a slot, sealing those elements is his job. Yeah. And that takes that, like those 3 out. And then with lightning, you can actually have lightning just fill out whatever element is not being taken care of. I believe when I fought him, because I fought Gilgamesh before I had like a really good team. I did have lightning, just like you. Mm-hmm. That was the only good unit I had at the time. I didn't even have Cecil for a tank. I had nothing. I didn't even have a healer.
My tank is Warrior of Light. I don't have Cecil.
He's good.
Yeah.
Warrior of Light.
I've been using Warrior of Light too for my
Warrior
tank.
Light is really good once he hits 100.
Yeah. So when I beat him, I had rain sealing 3 elements. I had lightning sealing the wind element.
That'd be Lunera for me.
Yeah. Oh, you have Lunera?
Yeah, my team right now is Lightning, Lunera, Warrior of Light, 9S or Night Delita in that slot, and then Beach Time Fina. So I actually have a pretty good team.
When I beat that, I beat it with Rain, Fina, Lightning, Chizuru.
That's not a bad team.
And I don't know if it had a 5-man requirement, but if it did, that was definitely the team I beat it with.
Yeah.
If it was 6, it probably was some other throwaway unit. But this was hard times when I did it.
That's a long fight.
Hard times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they have.
Whoop, go ahead.
Sorry, go on. I was in a.
Oh, I'm sort of at the same point where Musum is. I struggled through Mysidia, and then the next continent, and I have to say the continent after Mysidia, shockingly the story stuff that they dropped throughout that entire continent was really good, and just all of it was just like, wait, what? Wait, the what now? And then the very first fight on the continent after that, like the boss fight is the Veritas of Earth. He one-shotted my entire team. And I was like, okay, I will take a break from the story then, and I will have to beef up my team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe by the time you reach there, you should have pretty much, like, everybody needs to be, like, level 100 at that point.
Yep.
You need to have reasonable gear on them.
My gear is my weak point, which is why I'm like, trying to go through all this like the early end game stuff, like from when the game launched, to try and get all this gear. Anyway, Misumi, you were saying? Sorry.
Oh yeah, I don't have crap for gear too, but
well, that was the same position I was in, and a lot of it is just like, I didn't even know that in the far plane there were 3 bosses to fight that you can fight really early to get really good gear, and I was just like, well, I didn't even know you could fight people in there. Like, I thought it was just a bunch of Moogles standing around.
I just did that today.
Okay, yeah. That was a bunch of good gear.
I had the itch. I was like, I wonder if I can get those Moogles to let me pass that one walking point yet. And that didn't happen, but I evidently had already beaten, like...
Force armor or something from there? Or something like that?
I think it was Force armor, yeah.
I got a killer bow and force armor, and the first one you get is the Masamune.
Tana,
which I already had. So, and that has Chizuru, whatever her name is, has it for me. But
I think you're on the same path that I'm on, which is sort of like you can do a bunch of this stuff, or like one of my easy sources of getting good gear is going for all those vault keys, because a lot of those give you some pretty good stuff as you're going along. And like the benefit of getting all the vault keys for one vault gives you a really, really strong sword. Like I just got Apocalypse, which is a two-handed sword that gives you 103 attack. And I was like, well, that's way better than anything else I had. So that was well worth it.
I need to go back. Like I have not gone to a vault since the first area.
Honestly, just look at the wiki.
Guide.
The steps for getting some of these keys and unlocking vaults are so ridiculous that like I genuinely don't know how people would have figured it out.
Well, and I don't
trial and error.
And do you guys get a lot of the star keys? Because I just made my very first one today.
Star keys?
Aren't they called star keys?
Silver keys?
Yeah, silver keys.
I have like none of those.
For the lock chest. Like I just randomly went in my crafting menu. I'm like, I actually have the materials for one of these. And
yeah. The rewards are pretty good, but I never remember to make them.
For the start or the silver keys, there's one material, I believe the Scream Root, which can only come from the little mini tars, or you buy them when the Moogle King comes around.
Right.
The other one comes from basically crafting some stuff, like it's a crafting drop. I forget what it's called, Fine Alchrist maybe or something. I don't remember. But whatever it is, it's not, that one's not that rare. It's the Scream Roots that are rare.
Well, I have enough Scream Roots for a second one, but I don't have. I think Wind Alchrist, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some sort of Alchrist. That one comes from, I believe, crafting like an ability or crafting something. Sometimes you have like a percentage chance of getting that as a drop from crafting. So man, I wouldn't.
This game is so good. This game is so good, and like it's sort of. I mean, Musim and I are in the same spot where it's good that we jumped in this late because the amount of content in this game is overwhelming.
Yeah. Yes,
but it's also really overwhelming. you know, it's sort of like I'm talking to my brother about like, all right, here's all the gear I have on my team. I have a good team, but my gear isn't really there to sort of take me to the next step. And he's like, okay, well, do you have X, Y, and Z? And it's like, no, I've never even done, like, I've never even gone to this menu to go do this stuff. Like, okay, now I have like 30 more hours of stuff to do to get through this, and then I'll get some gear. It's really great for a game that you genuinely can play for free and not have to spend any money on anything, but there's so much stuff.
That's kind of what sold me on it. I remember you were the first one to play this, actually. I remember you brought it up, and like that very moment you brought it up, I picked up my phone and I started downloading it while we were talking, and I was like, I'm going to try this out, because I had been playing Record Keeper, and I was frustrated with Record Keeper, because I felt truly that game was locked behind like a money wall that I couldn't surpass because I'm not spending money. So how am I supposed to like achieve the same like level of like, you know?
Yeah, like how are you going to compete?
It just didn't feel fair. So I was like, well, this is a brand new mobile game. I'm going to hop in early, and I'm going to like, you know,
just like play every day.
This, try it. I'm just going to give it because I want to play this game and really get into it. And then I know that you left it like pretty early.
Yeah, I left it for Record Keeper, ironically enough.
Yeah, we swapped.
Yeah.
I remember we swapped, and I started to really like Brave Exvius because I could see like the potential, the far future potential. Because while I was playing, I met some people who had been playing the Japanese version, and I was like, okay, so I can kind of, you know, get like a sneak peek of what's to come, just like look into the future and see what sort of adventures and units and stuff. And like I saw what they had. They had basically reached about halfway where we are right now, like by the time the game released, and I was like, oh, okay, so look at all this cool stuff that's going to come in the future. I know it might be like a year from now, but like that's stuff to look forward to. So I was like, I just need to, you know, stick with it.
Yeah, you just got to get
log in. log in every day, make sure I do my daily stuff, you know, and like even if I only play it for 10, 20 minutes, I'll get there. I'll collect all the event armor and equipment, and I'll just like, you know, slowly save up resources. But as they kept adding more and more stuff to the game, I think that's what really helps the whole the life of the game, really, is that the first thing is that there's just a lot of stuff to be done. Like, you feel like you're constantly getting free stuff without having to spend money for it. Like, you're not paying for an expansion.
Right.
Which is kind of like the big selling point for when I was playing Warframe. I kind of felt like you were getting like way too much stuff. Like, it's like, and this is for free, but I'm getting all of this? That feels like it feels wrong, because the way that both games the way both games look at money from these games is that the top maybe 10 to 1% of players are spending lots and lots of money. So they're giving a lot of free stuff to the other people, well, everyone as a whole, but it's paying for itself, which is super nice. And I think that the way they release units is actually kind of sweet, in my opinion, where they introduce new units that, if you're lucky, if RNG holds, you will probably get them. You'll probably get at least the blue crystal from every banner if you hold every single day. Like, your odds are pretty high to get that. And like, I think I got like 8 Black Cat lids.
I didn't get anything from either Halloween banner.
Really?
Like, I just have the worst luck in this game.
Gosh.
It's incredible.
I had 8 Black Cat lids by the end of the banner. I was like, whoa, I've never pulled so many blues.
Man.
I had an ironic moment. Like, it was a couple months ago, and I was bugging you on Discord. And I think I asked you a question that either you just never saw or forgot to answer or something. I was like... I
might have.
It was something about X-Death, because I was worried about something to do with him and how rare he was or something like that. And then, like, literally over the next 3 days, I pulled, like, 5 X-Deaths somehow.
Yeah, you're like, well, it's probably not that rare.
Yeah, that, it's like I pulled my first one, like, that week. Well, and I gotta level him up. I've neglected him for...
Yeah, me too.
For other characters, but...
I don't know if you guys do a lot of the expeditions or whatever.
Yeah, somewhat.
I kind of skip over them until I get the daily goal to go do one, and then... Because I always got to look up a map to make sure I get everything, you know? So...
Yeah. So the expeditions that you send just your extra units out to go...
Oh, those.
Collect stuff. Yeah.
I just started doing that 2 days ago.
So that one, what's really cool about that is if you don't have like really good materia or whatever equipped, there's a non-stackable adventure materia or something like that that you get relics for just sending, like, well, you have to spend relics to craft this thing.
Yeah.
This is going to be a long segment about Brave Exvius. So what's really nice is that can be one of the highest stat materias that you can equip on a unit in the game. The Adventurer 5 materia is a 40% buff to all of the stats: attack, defense, spirit, magic, which is super incredibly high stat-wise. And that is basically like, that is not something that even whales can buy. That is something that you just have to work at slowly and achieve. Now, the reason why I bring up X-Death is I actually have 2 extra X-Deaths, and they are always out on expeditions because of his stats. He makes for a really good unit to just like go and do that. So even though I don't really use him anymore because I have so many other units, he's always at work. I have I actually kept a 3rd and a 4th one because I am fully prepared to level 2 more to max, just so that way I can send him out on those missions, and just not have to worry about him.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, are there Final Fantasy 7 and 8 characters in this game?
In the Japanese version.
Yes.
Oh.
My brother
Japanese
keeps sending me screenshots of like, oh, I logged in the Final Fantasy in the Japanese version, and I pulled a squall and a cloud. And I was like, okay.
They look sweet too.
Yeah, they're really strong.
Cloud is coming.
Yeah.
Cloud should be coming.
I also want Vivi to have a 5th and 6th star. It bums me out so much he stops at
It's
like
coming
4.
soon, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
Yeah, I think a 5th star is coming soon.
I think also they have the Black Waltz and like a separate unit that comes, which is a cool looking one.
Yeah.
And what are the chances of the Nier units having a banner again or being available?
So I watched the interview that they had, and they said that there was like such a strong, happy response to the Nier banner that they want to bring it back again. But in order for them to bring it back, they have to basically go through a lot of legal tape between Square Enix and, they just have to work it out. So the way I see it is if Square thinks that people will spend money for the Nier banner, I am sure Nier will come back. And so with enough people going, I want the Nier banner.
There's like a fan favorite banner every once in a while too, so they could come it back as part of that too.
So then, what are the chances that other Square properties could show up here? Because I don't...
Secret of Mana showed up.
Did it?
Yeah, there's Secret of Mana units in there. So like, after I saw Secret of Mana, I'm like, well, anything can show up in here by this point.
All I'm saying is I would be dangerously like I could see myself like just getting a second mortgage on my house if they put the Chrono Trigger characters in it.
That's what my brother and I were talking about. It's like I would spend a little bit of money on Chrono Trigger.
I think the only property I know is 100% off the table that everyone always brings up is Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts is owned by Disney.
That's too hard.
It is owned by Disney. It is not. You will not see that. It is not coming.
Yeah.
Give up.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, really, if they just took all their RPGs that they ever made with Square and Enix, like...
Yeah.
They mentioned the Tomb Raider one, and they also mentioned they mentioned something else. They mentioned Tomb Raider and was it Deus Ex?
Deus Ex?
Mentioned?
Probably. Yeah.
I think they mentioned those two.
That'd be fun.
I think they mentioned those two, and then I don't know how people responded to that, but they did mention those. Yeah. The Nier one, when was mentioned, blew up. People wanted it real bad.
Oh, man. So yeah, go play Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. It's really good.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
That is all I've been playing. So, Mina, what have you been playing lately?
So, I played a little bit, and by a little bit I mean roughly 10 hours, which was 8 hours of grinding, of Persona 5. I don't have a lot to say, except I really did not enjoy the going through the dungeon that I just did. And I don't... What number dungeon is this? Is this number 5 or 6?
I think it was 5.
Okay.
It's
Dungeon 5.
Yeah, it's one of the very late ones, so we don't even want to say where it is.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say whose dungeon it is. It's...
Spoilers.
Yeah. It's definitely... I don't like it because of mechanically how the dungeon worked.
Yeah.
And a little before the show, me and Boston tried to really analyze why I didn't like it, which is basically you would enter the area, you would know exactly how to solve the dungeon. You would just have to do it at that point, and I don't enjoy that.
Yeah, there's these puzzles that deal with, you'd look at the map and there'd be 7 or 8 rooms, and you sort of already knew how to solve the puzzle going through these rooms. You just have to go through the motions and fight the enemies, and it's just a long dungeon. It's good, but it's so long.
A lot of running through and unlocking doors so that we can go through, and unlock more doors so that we can go through and unlock more doors. I do not like that. I disliked it so much. And the thing was the previous dungeon that I had just done, I liked a lot.
Yeah.
I liked how it worked. It didn't feel like, even though there were mini bosses thrown out throughout there that you had to fight, it didn't feel like the way this dungeon feels. Even I don't know, it just didn't feel good. I have, however, beaten it, so now I'm just waiting on the countdown to the days where I get the person to confess their crimes or whatever, however they're doing it. So there's not much I can say other than that. The boss music was awesome.
Yeah.
And we talked about Brave Exvius, which was the second thing I was going to talk about. And so the last game I really want to talk about is Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony. For those of you who have not played Danganronpa,
that's me.
1 and 2, all I can say is that the third one is amazing. And would I recommend the third one for somebody who hasn't played the first two? I would highly, highly, highly insist that someone play the first two games before playing the third one. The third one does spoil the first two games in a way that I feel is not. I wouldn't want to be spoiled this way. I think especially if I ended up enjoying the third one, I would be kind of sad that I didn't play the first two.
Right.
I'd feel like I had missed out. So, and the first two are great. The first one was one of my first experiences at playing a visual novel, but it's got an amazing premise, which is that you're going to play as characters involved in a killing game, where characters do die. There are consequences to these characters playing this. It's not like, oh no, we'll get a Dragon Ball and they'll all come back, or let's get a Phoenix down. No, these characters die, and they die in a cartoony, brutal fashion. I don't know how to put it into words, but one of the choices that the creator made when making the series was he wanted it to feel dark, but he also wanted to offset the darkness with a bit of like a humory sort of like
so
lightness
it's not like
to it.
Oppressive or anything. It's
yeah. I would say that like it's kind of like a comfortable, creepy darkness sort of feeling. I don't know how to you don't understand when you see it. Well, number one is that none of the blood is in the shade of red. They go for like this hot pink. Like,
oh yeah, I've
like
seen that.
Barbie pink. So it even feels kind of like there's less of an attachment there towards this being like a serious sort of death. And I think it's played pretty well. I think that when you play through the first one, you may find some things that you could be really critical about, like maybe the mystery wasn't like, that great, or maybe you didn't enjoy like this or that. But I think overall the way the visual novel is presented, you'll enjoy it. So when I say visual novel, a lot of people like immediately tune me out because they're like, "Oh, I don't want to play a visual novel."
Join the club, man.
and it's so disappointing because, I mean, I've seen people who love Phoenix Wright games, but they'll tell me they hate visual novels, and I'll be like,
it's like,
just
wait a minute, I got
Phoenix
something to tell you.
Is a visual novel. No matter what you say, it's a visual novel with point and click.
Yeah.
There's that makes it slightly different, but that's how all visual novels will work. They'll be visual novel and something else. Yeah. So the way Danganronpa works is that it's a visual novel, but there's point and click investigation sort of stuff along with little tiny mini games, and also there's like social links, and you'll get to really like kind of like get to know some of these characters, and then the pain when you lose them, and just you'll go through a roller coaster of emotions all the way through it, and you'll get to the ending, and you'll be impressed about like aspects of the story and the mystery, and then you'll go play the second one because you'll be like, well, that was fun. I didn't like some aspects of it, but it was fun. You'll play the second one, and it will be incredible. Yeah. And it'll be incredible for reasons I can't tell you because that's spoilers, because they planned that out.
Nice.
The way the second game is built squarely because they expect you to play the first one, and with your knowledge of the first one, you're going into the second one, and that's how they made the second one great. I can't explain it, but that's how they did that. And so knowing that, when I knew all that, when I walked in with that sort of knowledge of like, okay, I know how they constructed the second game based on the first game, I'm going to go into the third game, so they can't pull that trick with me again, because they already pulled it with the second game. They can't do it with the third. It's impossible, because I'm on to you, right? I'm on to you. I got to the third game, and I started playing it, and I went through so many emotions in the third game. It's so incredibly good. This is my and I thought that I was going to give Game of the Year to Persona just because I really love Persona and it's so much in my wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I will probably give this to Danganronpa V3 for
unless it like totally messes up the ending.
I can't even conceive how they would mess it up at this point.
Right. Because
I'm so deep into it now, and I'm so involved in it, and I'm so like attached to all these characters, whether I love them or hate them. I have so much of an attachment where I'm just begging that they kill off this one character every time I see this character's face. I'm like, please, do not let this character survive. We have killed off this character and this character and this character. If this character makes it out of here alive, I will despair so hard.
Yeah.
They will make a game over me despairing over that. But it's written so well that I can't see this failing. Where I felt like I love 999 in VLR in ways that I can never ever like fully put into words on why I love them. But Zero Time Dilemma had its problems.
Yes.
At the end. Had its problems and things that I, even when apologizing for it, I still, I just, it could never beat VLR.
Right.
Because that hit the highest point for me for that. I don't think Danganronpa 3 has anything to worry because it doesn't look at trying to achieve the same magic of the first or the second game. It looks towards trying to complete like its own story and on its own terms. Instead of trying to outdo the other ones, which is, I don't know how to describe it. It's amazing though, and I feel that everybody should give Danganronpa 1 a chance, then give Danganronpa 2 a chance, which I found out today because Boston told me they are sold in a bundle. So
on the PS4.
So you should buy them as a bundle. You can buy it on the PS4. You can buy it on Steam. You can
Is that on the Vita?
You know, there's a lot of ways to buy them. Buy them as a bundle.
Yeah.
Buy them as a bundle.
Then you just roll straight from 1 into 2. It's right on the disc.
Right in there. So I really can't talk about the game though, because I feel like it's spoilery to even discuss a little thing. Like, I guess I can talk a little bit about some of the characters. Mm-hmm. At least give you guys an idea of how like the killing game works. So if it was just like a killing game, like, oh, you meet these characters and they die, like that's all there is to it. There's a lot of animes and stuff that have that sort of theme where oh, look at these high school students that are going to fight and kill each other, and
most famously Battle Royale. You know,
Battle Royale, yeah, Battle Royale, which is a good example of what the first game sort of felt like. What makes these characters unique is that they are all called ultimates, or basically super students of something. So think of them as all prodigies of something.
Oh, yeah, they did that in the first one, where it's like, this person is the best singer in the entire country. So like they're the ultimate singer,
the ultimate pop icon, the ultimate things that like the ultimate gangster, the ultimate Yakuza, the ultimate sword fighter, the ultimate martial artist.
Yeah.
And then they have like kind of like plainer or less obvious prodigy sort of things where it's like, oh, this is the ultimate rich kid, the ultimate
ultimate otaku or something.
Oh yeah, there is a guy who's kind of like that, the ultimate or the ultimate or ultimate writer, the ultimate lucky student. So there's things like that where it's kind of like these characters have these things that they are super good at, and then it throws in like these crazy personalities. Like they have like maximum personality that someone could have of something.
Yeah.
So they don't feel normal. You feel almost like you're dealing with a bunch of like like superheroes, sort of like overbearing almost in some cases.
Larger than life a little bit.
Yeah. So it's extremely cartoony, but it makes it so good with how they behave.
Yeah.
And it makes it, I don't want to even say that like the way they kill people or the way they die is believable, but it's just sort of a sort of, well, these people have such bombastic personalities that you could see them doing some of the sort of crazy silliness that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And the way this killing game works, because I know that there's like, a bunch of different killing games out there. Like 999 was like, oh, we got to escape this place via doors and stuff. And then if you break these rules or somebody kills or whatever, like it's sort of like a, like that's a killing game in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
The way Danganronpa works is all these people are trapped in this place and they all want to get out, and the person who trapped them there says, if you want to get out, you have to kill someone, but not only do you have to kill someone, but you have to deceive everyone and make them think that you aren't the one who did it, and they name the wrong person, and then you get out. So there's deception, there's death.
Yeah.
There's
all.
all sorts of emotions. Yeah, it's guaranteed to have like, that high emotion, just because that sort of thing. And then the characters, you've got the people who are like, no, I would never kill. There's no way you can make me kill or something like that. And because people are unwilling to do that, they start introducing elements that break people down. Like maybe they show pictures of their family and their or family or friends or whatever, or people who are close and important to them, and they say, well, sure would be bad if something happened to one of them, wouldn't it?
Right.
Would you like to know what happened to them? Oh, I guess I can't tell you though, because you're trapped here forever, so I won't tell you what happens to your family. And then suddenly now you've got an element of, would someone kill someone else if their family or friends were in danger?
Right.
Like, would they kill these strangers? And then that sort of element of distrust, and then trying to figure out who did it and how they did it, and correctly solve that sort of mystery is really the bread and butter to the entirety of the game. If I haven't sold you on trying this visual novel, I don't think I ever will.
Yeah.
It's really good though. That's all I've been playing though. So, Boston.
All right, I only have 2 games, and I'm going to sort of blow through them here pretty quickly. I finished Yakuza Kiwami. I did just the mainline stuff. It was about 12 hours. So it was pretty straightforward. I will stick to my recommendation that if you are at all able to play Yakuza 0, I would recommend you do so before Kiwami. It's not required, but I think Majima as a villain, sort of villain in this, is sort of cartoony and larger than life in a way that I've said before. I feel like people really like that character because of something he does in some future game. The reason why I like him is because of how he was shown in 0. I sort of missed that character. And I think that knowing what I know from 0 and using that as an intro to the Yakuza 0's series as a whole, I think has made it easier to get over the hump of Kiwami, because they remade it, but they didn't change it dramatically. Like, it's still the same storyline, it's still with some added stuff, still the same side quests, still the same world, and it, for better or for worse, it feels like a PS2 game. And I think if I hadn't played and enjoyed Zero first, I might not have pushed through this one again, because I know that this is just like their first try at a Yakuza game. So there's a lot of bumps and there's a lot of wrinkles, and it's fine because I know that everything from here out, like, they've already announced Kiwami 2, which is a remake of Yakuza 2 that will be coming out in Japan next year. Hopefully we'll see that. We're seeing Yakuza 6 in March in the US, which I will 100% be picking up, even though I will be skipping 5 games. I think Kiwami is good, and I think overall it's a weaker game than Zero was, but it sort of has to be because Zero is a brand new game and Kiwami's a remake of a really early PS2 game. But I still recommend Zero a lot. Zero is a really, really great game, and I think if you really like that, then Kiwami launched it. What was it, $30? And for 12 hours, and you get to continue the story. I think that's pretty good.
We need a sale on Yakuza 0, please.
For real. I just sent Musum an email with some cheap Yakuza 0 links. I sent Musum a whole bunch of stuff while we were talking. Oh my gosh. The other game I played and I platinumed is Battle Chasers Nightwar. I don't know if I talked about this last month. I feel like maybe I didn't. But Battle Chasers Nightwar is really good, and I think I'm actually going to put this on the list of games I would recommend if you haven't played RPGs before. Like, for me, that list was mostly like Chrono Trigger and Costume Quest, and now that also includes Battle Chasers Nightwar. It's not hard. Like, if you're in any, for any reason, an RPG veteran, you're going to blow through this game pretty easily. And I kind of like that, because I think my first playthrough, getting 100% of everything, took me about 30 hours. And that's like doing all side quests, all hunts, making all the ultimate weapons, all the stuff. Completing the bestiary, all that stuff was about 30 hours. So even if you don't have a ton of time, this game is... You can do a lot of it in a little bit of time. I really liked my first playthrough. I thought the final boss was pretty good. I thought all the dungeons were good. I thought the story was mostly good, although sometimes maybe a little confusing. I don't know if that's because they weren't working with a big budget or because I didn't read the comics, but it was fine. That's not really the focus of this game. So I really liked that. So I thought, well, there's 2 more trophies to get the platinum. One is start New Game Plus and finish New Game Plus. I was like, well, let's play New Game Plus. Let's see what all this is about. It's the opposite of every other game's New Game Plus in a way that's really interesting. So they take away everything you've earned in the game when you start New Game Plus and reduce you all the way back down to level 1. But you get to keep all of your skill points for your basically your skill trees. So you start the game with, increased healing, increased damage, increased crit chance, all that stuff, along with any bonuses you've gotten from the bestiary. The bestiary has a cool thing that like Final Fantasy XII tried to do almost, which is if you kill 100 enemies in this area, all of your party members get 1% increase towards attack power. And that's permanent. All that stuff gets carried over to your second playthrough. Your second playthrough is way, way harder. Like, I was talking about this on TVGP the other week. When you start in the tutorial, you're level 1 and you have all your starting gear. The very first enemy you fight is level 5. And like it expects you to know, with all the skills you have, how to take advantage of the systems and be able to beat enemies as fast as possible. So it's actually pretty cool that instead of the normal New Game Plus where you just walk in there and you just blow through because you're overpowered, I spent probably about another 20 hours going through and having a really challenging time going through this game at a much, much harder difficulty, which was pretty cool. And I spent probably about another 2 hours finding the right combo to beat the final boss, when in my first playthrough I had like all the ultimate armor and weapons and all this stuff, and just in literally one turn managed to totally clobber it. But I kind of liked that it was way harder, and I think I really liked Battle Chasers Nightwar. It's definitely going to be in my top 10 list this year. And it's nice to see a non-Japanese company make a JRPG and make it really well, and make it without all kind of the BS that we usually get with a lot of JRPGs. It's a very streamlined, pretty short but really well-made experience. And I really recommend it. I think it's really great. I think if you listen to this show, you probably like RPGs. And I think it's only $20. It's out on PC, PS4, Xbox One. They fixed the PS4 and Xbox One versions. It's coming out on Steam at some point whenever the Unity engine gets upgraded. But excuse me. It's really good. I highly recommend it. And I don't really want to talk about anything else about that because I don't really want to spoil it. But that's all the games I played this month, so let's take a break. God, my voice is killing me. Yeah, so, Musum, I sent you...
Already looked in.
Okay, those two links. And then I texted you my brother's friend code on Brave Exvius. He's as strong as Mina is. And if you go to add him and it says he's full, let me know and I'll text him and he'll free up a space for you.
Cool. I will do that.
He's usually running like an Onion Knight that has like 1200 attack power. And it's just like, well, you can use a skill that hits everybody in the enemy party for 16 shots, so just use that one.
Nice.
While we're on break, I'm trying to figure out if people are planning on... I don't know if either of you have been watching Monster Hunter World.
Yeah. I want to play that real bad.
Okay, listen, Boston. I can't. Listen. I have always had problems with the Monster Hunter games.
Yeah.
This one looks really good.
The problem with me is like I just don't have the time.
Oh.
Like I have to be so choosy about the games I play, and like I really want to play this. Is this the?
What are the odds I can get Moonpier on this?
Is this the Monster Hunter one, or is this the RPG?
Monster Hunter World.
That's like the traditional Monster Hunter.
Kind of. They've made it very Dark Soulsy. They've fine-tuned
like
this thing crazy.
One, right?
No,
that's
not
Stories?
the RPG one. Stories, yeah, that's the RPG one.
Yeah, Moonpier's already going to buy it for Xbox One, and he's already pressuring me pretty hard, and it's just like, I can't...
Tell Moonpier I need him on PC.
Oh, man. I know. That's why I forgot to ask him today. He's trying to save up money for a PC.
Oh, that's right. He needs a PC.
Yeah,
yeah, he's pretty pro Xbox all the way through.
Yeah.
Musum, how am I going to get you to play
just like
Monster Hunter World? Come on, we can fight some dinosaurs. Okay?
I haven't even looked into this game. Is this a typical Monster World, or this is the open world Monster World?
Yeah.
Yes, it's actually more open world, kind of. Yeah.
I was about to say, aren't all of them open world?
Well, okay.
Sort of.
So the thing is they've always had like transitions, and everything's been kind of clunkier, as I would put it. It's been very.
PS2.
Yeah, it's sad because it feels like a very old game that's just been kind of reiterating, whereas Monster Hunter World feels like it's like their first attempt that Capcom's like, you know what, we're going to try and capture everybody who we've never captured before.
Yeah, we're going to make a new one.
Yeah, which is why they went with calling it Monster Hunter World instead of Monster Hunter 5.
Yeah.
They don't want that. They don't
choice.
want that 5 on there to make the people think, oh, well, I didn't play 1 through 4, so I think they're trying to catch lightning in a bottle with this one. And I think they might do it because after watching some of the stuff, I've been like, well, this has resolved so many of my problems with the series.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So it comes out in January, right?
For the PS4, I'm gonna basically try and ask you to, like, you know, kind of hold off and wait 6 months or whatever it takes for them to put this on Steam. Yeah, they're pushing the console out like at the beginning of the year, but they said that the PC one, they aren't even like focused on finishing that one right now because they're going to treat it with extra care to make sure this isn't like a clunky PC version. So
who has not released, like, I guess, like, it being next year immediately makes it more possible of me, like, considering to buy it. Because if it came out in the next month, I'd be like, nope.
No.
But,
I'm talking like summer maybe of next year.
Yeah, second half of 2018.
Who didn't put out a game this year that's going to screw us next year with something amazing?
It's not going to be Atlas.
Well, SMT5 is coming to Switch. Is that next year? Or is that going to be 2019?
I have any news stories
I don't
here.
even.
Let me look.
I don't even.
No release date.
Here's the thing: if they even try to release it next year, they could push that one back. I'm sure of it.
I mean, we haven't even really. Well, and realistically, they'll probably do what they did with the Persona 5 on PS4, where it releases half a year to a year before. In Japan before here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll know about
Well,
it.
Musim, that gives you plenty of time to play Yakuza 0.
Yeah.
So for anyone that's looking for Yakuza 0, I found a couple of people selling it on eBay for about $30-$40 used.
Yeah, I was just checking my bank accounts.
It doesn't come with any DLC in the box, and all the DLC they released is free. So basically you just need the disc.
Okay.
Yeah, what they did is they did this for both Zero and Kiwami. What's cool is they, like, every week they would release a new pack, and it would be like, this pack has some race car parts and a new outfit and a really strong weapon. And it's free. You just have to go talk to, here's Yakuza, you have to go talk to the clown that lives at the shrine, and he will let you redeem the DLC.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll ask you again next year probably to see if I can get you to play World.
Yeah,
with
closer
me
to launch.
I mean,
everyone's going console, and I'm just like, but come on, man, just come on, let's do this on PC.
Yeah.
Well, like the game flow for that, because I briefly played a version of that on PSP years and years and years ago.
Me too.
Yes.
So the game flow is primarily kill monsters to get stuff to craft better equipment, right? Is that the deal?
To kill better monsters.
The idea is to have kind of a team of people to lay traps and get them.
It's man, the version World is like taken a lot of the concepts I've had about Monster Hunter and said, okay, this stuff isn't working, and it's there's way too many systems and stuff going on here that is way too annoying. Let's try and find this. I don't want to call it casual because it's not casual, but it's almost like they looked at it. Yeah, they looked at this and they're like, we used to make this so complicated with gear and stuff where it's like you need to have a plus 20 to get a plus 3 of something or a plus, like
yeah.
They're like, bumkiss to all of that. They're just like, whatever. Or you needed to wear like this piece of gear is only available on these classes, but this gear goes on these classes, and that was just, they've said, no, we're gonna make this way less complicated. So it's kind of like for a new player to jump back, like try and get into the series, it's probably going to be super easy from what I've seen.
Excuse me.
And it looks like everything flows better. Like the attack animations were something that I always complained about, where everything was like, it was like signing a marriage certificate with like geez, you got to be really committed to this attack.
Yeah.
And you would just get, like, you know, failure for messing up even the slightest of button presses. Whereas, like, World seems like, oh, I didn't mean to press that. You can just cancel out of that animation and just, like, nope, forget that. Nice. I'm out. So it's more... I think it feels better. I think from what I've watched animation-wise, everything looks like it feels better. The world looks really beautiful. I don't know. I'm really excited for this one because I think this could be the Monster Hunter that I could really get into. I could finally be a part of this.
Right.
Well, and I have a friend who... He's the guy who got me to play it on PSP. And I don't know that he's been back to the series in years, but he loved, like... everything about Monster Hunter and hunting the big monsters and getting the giant equipment and traps. So I feel like if I liked that game, I might be able to talk him into it too. And he's very pro PC on anything he can get.
But the problem is like most Monster Hunter fans are like, well, I can't wait however long it takes for them to make a PC version. So the true fans are already like, I'm getting a console version, and I'm just like, no, come back. Let's play this on PC together as friends. And they're like, nope, can't wait.
Yeah,
can't wait.
I haven't even looked at what is releasing next year. I feel like every company I care about released a game this year.
Yeah.
So, I guess if BioWare's not Destiny game, what's that game called? Anthem. If that winds up being good, I might hop on that train.
I know that off the top of my head because the Destiny 2 community is like, hey man, maybe that one will be good, right?
Man,
Destiny 2 does not have a stellar reputation right now.
I'm sorry, that was funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what it's going to be, but like, certain aesthetic things can immediately get me to spend money on things sometimes, and riding around in kind of a little mech suit, and like, depending how visually customizable that mech suit and Anthem is, like, could determine whether I purchase it immediately.
Yeah.
If either of you guys decide to hop on that train, let me know so I can coordinate platforms. Yeah.
I'm curious about it. I need to... I'm keeping
an eye on it. Is that due out this year? That's not due out this year.
No, that's due out late 2018, if I remember.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
Yeah, we still... they showed it real early.
Okay.
I'm extremely poor, and I've been having to... I know you know the struggle. I know both of you know this struggle. So it's kind of like I have to be pretty choosy on what I get.
Yes.
And
I have a job that doesn't make any money, so
same.
Incredibly choosy.
Same.
I've been slowly getting out of debt.
Nice. Yeah, that's probably more important than video games, I've heard.
Yeah. I've only been buying like maybe, like, I think March was the only year where or the only month where I bought like multiple games, other than like occasionally finding something used. Like I found the first two Katamari's for like $12 a piece the other week.
That's
I bought those. Yeah,
I buy a lot of stuff used because, like, if you even wait 2 months and then buy something used, it's like, oh, I just got a new game for me for $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we recently got a local game store that is basically he'll go and figure out what GameStop is selling used stuff for, and beat them by like $5 or $10 lower.
Awesome.
So like I could get the thing I keep hedging on whenever I walk in there right now is they have a copy of The Evil Within 2, which from the reviews sounds like a game I'd want to play, but they're only selling it for like $45.
That's a good deal for a game that just came out.
Exactly. Like GameStop's probably selling it for $55, so
57 probably.
But I really shouldn't spend it. But you got my mind on Yakuza 0 now, so maybe you'll forgive me if I skip Destiny 2 and do that for my Thanksgiving game instead.
For now.
I'm not doing Destiny 2, unfortunately. I know that.
Skip it.
There's just way too many coming out right now.
Yeah.
It sounds like a game I'd like, especially since I will run out of content at some point on it, so I'll have a nice couple-month break until, an expansion or something. Because I've really become kind of bitter about games as a service, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because I don't
2017 hasn't been a great year for that.
I don't get to play other games, whenever you fully devote yourself to that. But
All right, you guys ready to knock this thing out? I just realized what time it is.
I'm ready. Well, as soon as he's done blowing his nose, I think we're good.
Sorry, I'm dying.
No, you were.
I know.
I am like 2 days away from that very, 2 days past that very same stage. So, I feel you.
Yeah, we're just in this odd place weather-wise where,
Yep.
like, we have our heater on, but it's set real low, so it still gets real cold. But if we turn it on, then we're gonna die. So it's just a question of, do we not sleep and just stay up and sweat, or do we wake up with a cold or something?
Well, for me, it's 60 degrees here right now, and a week ago it was 105.
That happened in Texas, too.
Yeah, my body's just like, man, I can't do this. I'm sick.
And supposedly next week it's supposed to get super hot again, and I'm like, stop it.
Stop. I can't take it. Stop it.
Jeez.
Let me actually pull up the weather and see what it's supposed to be like here next week.
Just gonna.
I bet it goes up again, just like here.
No, just 70s. It'll be 70 probably for the rest of the year. Thankfully.
I was about to say, I'm close enough to meet a location-wise. I'm sure I will get whatever she gets.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep my voice going here. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk RPG releases for November 2017. Demon Gaze 2 comes out on the Vita and the PS4 on the 14th. I don't remember anything about the first game, and I wrote this down.
I was about to say.
Yeah. I know people are excited, but...
That was a Vita game, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I remember being interested in it, and then, like, the moment passed, so I never got it.
Yeah.
Or maybe a listener recommended this to us. Was this
maybe.
I feel like that might be a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like they had a good pitch for it, and I just never gave it a shot.
Elder Scrolls V Skyrim comes out on the Switch on the 17th. You've probably played this already. I don't... just buy it on PC.
Not
I swear I've seen it for sale for like $6 on Steam before, so...
Yeah.
Like, if they'd come out with this, like, maybe even $40, I would have bet. Like, 20 to 30 would be the, oh man, you made a good decision.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer
for me. But like 60 is like, what are you guys thinking? Like,
never.
Yeah, it's too much.
Nintendo market that exclusive that you think you can do this to them? Like,
and I feel like with the Switch as a platform too, it's really easy to be concerned about performance. So, who knows how that's gonna run? Who knows?
Allegedly, I think they've said they got 30 frames per second.
That's not bad.
But
I mean,
at the same time, what's the pop-in going to be like?
Well, also, it doesn't say Skyrim Special Edition, so does it have the DLC?
It does have the DLC.
Okay.
All right, one right choice. I wouldn't even care, because you should just play it on the PC version.
Yeah. You got $5 and you have Steam. Anything can run it.
It's so much cheaper, and there's mods that will improve the game for you, and I don't want...
Here's the thing, though, Mina. Portable Skyrim.
That's true.
I understand because I have a 3DS, which is my portable Earthbound.
Yeah.
So I understand, but still, it's far too expensive for a portable Skyrim.
I mean, like, if it had been lower than $60, like, my big argument with myself would have been, can I tolerate an unmodded Skyrim?
Right. Do I want to dive deep again?
I wonder how it would control, how that would feel with everything. I don't know.
That's a good point. Like, because that original, God, I haven't played with the original Skyrim UI in years.
Right? No, thank you.
Like, I don't even know what that looks like. Let alone like how a controller would navigate it.
I played Skyrim on the 360, I believe, and it was good with a controller.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I know they geared that UI for that. PC made it better.
Version, moving on, we have Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon for the 3DS on the 17th.
Is it really?
I believe so. As long as this wasn't another one where someone has accidentally put the Japanese version on this page.
I was in GameStop today. I did not see the date, but they had lots of merchandise and stand-up advertising.
Oh, nuts.
Pokemon, so.
Curses.
I always buy them.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Monster of the Deep. Final Fantasy 15 is out on PS4 on the 21st. This is the VR fishing Final Fantasy 15 expansion. So I want it to be good because that sounds really ridiculous, but the price of entry is a little high. And also it's a VR fishing thing, so I don't really know. More importantly though, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is out for the Switch on December 1st. I hope it's like half as long as the first one was. That one stuck up on you, Mina?
I didn't think we were there yet.
Yeah.
I have it pre-ordered.
Holy smokes.
2017 continues to come out swinging every month.
My internal debate with myself is, like, one, you have to get Xenogears 2 when it comes out, or not Xenogears, whatever this game is, Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Because, well, if you want the special edition, because you know it's just going to be $300.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you live without that, then you probably have a solid year to buy it. But,
oh yeah.
The problem is I never beat the first one.
Yeah. I still haven't beaten the first one.
Yeah. And I really want to go back to that. Like, I was enjoying the story. Like, the combat still throws me for a loop. I never got used to the...
It's a little weird.
The balancing act you do in that. But I want them to release Xenoblade Chronicles 1 for Switch.
Yeah.
That would be nice, because I don't think I can pop out my Wii or Wii U or whatever. I have to 3DS.
I currently have every console of mine that I own hooked up except for my Wii, because I have a Switch and a Wii U hooked up. So, like, I can... Well, okay, I don't own a copy. I was borrowing a copy from a friend, and then they were released on the digital store. And now my options are either I buy it from the Nintendo Digital Store, which is the worst thing you could possibly do, because no way is Nintendo going to let you do anything else with that once that console dies. But I just want them to... Crap. I did the math in my head. If they release it for Switch, it's totally going to be a digital copy.
Probably, yeah. Unfortunately. All right, moving on to news stories. We have two quick ones here. Blizzard has BlizzCon going on right now, and they announced World of Warcraft Classic. Basically, they have finally figured out how to do vanilla World of Warcraft. They have specifically said it's not launch WoW, because that would not be a great experience.
That would be bad.
Yeah, it would. Although it would be funny to say, like, oh, we're launching World of Warcraft Classic, and for like the first month, everybody's sliding around on their knees like you were during the original WoW launch. That would be really great. Unfortunately, this is a little light on details. They said they're going to talk about it more during BlizzCon itself, but basically, it's happening, and Blizzard is doing it.
I'll hold back the snark.
Yeah,
I'll hold back the snark on this.
I'm curious to see what this is going to be, because WoW's been out for 10 years. So, how are they going to make this an attractive package for a lot of people that are or aren't playing World of Warcraft to stay around for a long time? So if you're still playing WoW, you're probably used to a lot of the conveniences that have been added. If you haven't played WoW for a long time, like myself, I'm not really gonna go back. Like, I'm finally free, and I'm not gonna dive into that again.
You'll want to start the game all the way over.
Yeah. So I'd be curious to see, how they frame a classic WoW experience. But I'll be looking at that from the outside.
I actually forgot WoW existed until that news came out.
Well, during their last expansion pack, it did so poorly. They went from 10 million subscribers down to 6 million and stopped reporting public figures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, been a bit of a rough time for WoW. They've come back recently with a couple of good patches, but...
now I'm curious to see what Final Fantasy XIV's player base numbers are.
Yeah, I don't actually know. I get the impression, because the patches have been so aggressive, that they're doing really well. Speaking of Final Fantasy XIV's Evilise patch, whew,
woo,
man,
amazing.
Speaking of amazing, though, let's talk about our second news story. Shin Megami Tensei 5 has been announced for the Switch, which means I need to get a Switch at some point.
Right?
Because, man, 4 was really good. I like Persona.
Man, and that trailer, like, the setup looks like very Nocturne-ish to me.
Yeah.
Like,
looks good.
modern day Tokyo going into the apocalypse. Let's do it.
That's real good stuff.
Plus, having a console SMT, come on.
It's been a real long time. It's been since Nocturne.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean...
3 was the last one, yeah.
Yeah, the main...
Who doesn't want this?
I mean, especially for RPGs, like, just having the opportunity to have it portable and have it docked just seems like, I'm going to play some story stuff, so I'll dock it. I'm going to go on my commute. I'm going to grind a couple levels. Like, that just, it seems like the best of both worlds.
To give you an idea, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne came out in 2003.
Yeah. So 14 years since. And 4 was really good, but I feel like a bunch of people missed it for some reason.
Man, if... Now I just want Nintendo to shelve the 3DS, like, immediately, so it just forces Atlas to do all their SMT games on...
Yeah, put Strange Journey
nice
Redux out there, like...
God, why am I... And I'm buying it because it's Shin Megami Tensei, but... Like, I barely even played my Metroid 2, not because it's a bad game, but because it looks so bad compared to the Switch.
Yeah. Man. But yeah, listen to this show whenever SMT5 comes out, because the majority, if not all of us, will be playing it. Just hands down.
Super hyped about it.
Yeah. Yeah, excited to see. They haven't really released anything other than that short trailer. No release date, no anything, just SMT5 Switch. Hey, it looks really cool. So, I guess that's all we really need for now. And actually, for now, that's our episode. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. Tweet us at pickinguppixels, no the in there. Email us fans@pickingupthepixels.com. The link to our Discord server, all of the other links are on the right-hand side of the page. Musim, where can we find you?
You can buy my music at musum.bandcamp.com, also on iTunes and all those places, and you can listen to my other podcast, theprecariousoulepodcast.com.
And Mina, where can we find you?
You can find me on YouTube under Mina K.O. Rocket.
And you can listen to my other show, That Video Game Podcast, at tvgp.tv. If you'd like to support this show and all the other E1M1 shows, you can do so at patreon.com/E1M1. For even $1 a month, you can get some cool behind-the-scenes stuff. $1, $2, $5, and $10 a month. You get all sorts of cool behind-the-scenes stuff. Interact with me and hang out with me and chat while I edit this show and others, and all sorts of cool stuff. Early access to some stuff. Patreon.com/E1M1. Thank you so much for listening. Our adventures continue next month.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right, and thank you very much, everyone, for watching the video. And we will see you again. I'll see you all tomorrow. And everybody here with the yellow logo will see you next month. Bye.